Gathering herbs, sir. My sister, she be ill. Gwera, the herb woman, said she'd treat her, but it was needful for me to go and do some gathering. To give her due fee, I mean.
Verrak threw him to his knees. As he looked up at the tall, hard-muscled man towering over him, Jahdo felt the world turn all swimmy. Verrak's blue stare cut into his soul like the thrust of a knife.
"He does tell the truth."
Verrak's voice seemed to come from far away.
That's of no moment. Kill him. The woman's voice hissed and cracked. We mayn't risk. Kill him, Vero.
Jahdo whimpered and flung up his hands, half warding a blow, half begging for his life. When he tried to speak, his tongue stuck to the roof of his mouth, and he gasped for breath. Verrak laid one hand on the jewelled hilt of the sword slung at his hip, then considered him for an achingly long moment. His stare seemed normal again, merely the look of an angry man, not some strange ensorcelment.
"I know you. You be the rat boy."
I am, sir.
He found his voice at last, but in his terror he could only whisper.
Jahdo Ratter. Kill him now.
Wrapped in a black cloak with the hood well up, the woman crouched on the edge of the gully.
"Hold your tongue, Ray,"
Verrak snapped.
"I'll not be hurting the boy. He's but 10 summers old and no threat."
Vero!
Her voice this time whined, as petulant as a toddler.
Kill him. I want to watch.
"Hold your tongue.
He be valuable, this lad, and besides, the herb woman does know he's out here." With a snarl, she sat back on her heels. All Jahdo could see of her was grey eyes and pale cheeks, streaked with sweat. No doubt she found the black cloak a burden on such a sunny day. Verrak ignored her, slipped one arm around Jahdo's shoulders, and turned him around.
"Look, lad, as one man to another, I ask you, are you really going to be telling anyone about what you did see here today?"
All of a sudden, Jahdo understood. A love affair.
Of course not, sir. It be none of my business, bain't.
Verrak winked and grinned.
"Not in the least, lad, not in the least. And don't you go worrying. No harm will come to you as long as you hold your tongue."
Thank you, sir. Oh, 1,000 thanks. I'll never say no, I swear it. And I'll gather my herbs somewhere far away, too.
Verrak looked deep into his eyes and smiled. It seemed that his blue eyes turned to water, that his gaze flowed over the boy like warm water.
Good lad. Now, just trot back down along the stream like, and go on your way."
Jahdo followed orders, running as fast as he dared, never looking back until he was a good mile away. He climbed out of the gully and stood for a moment, shaking his head. Something odd had happened down there by the water. Or had he fallen asleep and dreamt it? He'd seen something, someone, Councilman Verrak and a lady, and they were sneaking out behind her husband's back, and he'd sworn to speak not a word of it. Fair enough, and he'd certainly keep his promise, especially since he wasn't even sure if it was true, or just a dream, or even a rumour. The city was full of rumours, after all. Maybe he hadn't seen a thing. He was sure, as he thought about it, that he'd seen no one but Verrak, sitting by a stream. By the time he'd filled the damp basket with herbs, he'd forgotten the councilman's name, and by the time he was heading home, all he retained was a sense of fear, linked to the grassy bank of some stream or other. A snake, perhaps, had startled him. Dimly he could remember a sound much like the hiss of a snake. Although there were a scattering of villages farther west, Caer Cownan was the only town worthy of the name in that part of the world, the Rhiddaer, the Freeland, as it was known. In the midst of water meadows lay Loch Vaid, stretching in long green shallows out to blue deeper water, and a rocky central island, the Citadel, where stood the fine homes of the best families, and, at the very peak, the armoury of the citizen militia. The rest of the town crammed into the shallows, a jumble and welter of houses and shops all perched on pilings or crannogs, joined by little bridges to one another in the rough equivalent of city blocks, which in turn bristled with jetties and rickety stairs leading down to the stretches of open water between them, where leather coracles bobbed on ropes. Toward the edge of town, where the lake rippled over sandy reefs, big logs, sawn in half and sunk on end, studded the surface of the water,